Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Jeff Cockrell. Welcome back to day 2 of Beating the Guilt Monster. And as I started yesterday, and I kind of want to break it down by letters. What's the negative side and how can we reframe it in a way that is more positive? And the first one is about greed. The G is for greed, because often that's the underlying assumption that whatever we've done in our life, if we've been successful, it's because we were greedy. It was somehow evil to want more. And you and I know that is in fact not the case. I mean, it's the basis of human progress, is people want more. And usually it's because what they've decided to do is solve someone else's problem. And then as they do that, things start to come their way, which requires them to grow into it. If you've read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad from, 20 years ago by Robert Kiyosaki, great book. One of the points he makes is that people that are wealthy have a different mindset than people that are not. Wealthy parents teach their children different things than poor parents do. And he uses his own examples. It's a great book. I thoroughly encourage you to read it. It was one of those books that just really shifted my mindset when it came to wealth. And wealth is not about greed. In fact, if we are greedy, it's very hard to become wealthy. I know, and Gordon Gekko in Wall Street said, greed is good. Greed in the right way, it is. When we're out to destroy someone else, no, not so much. Which leads us to the next challenge. Often when we've had success, when people start putting guilt on us, when society starts putting guilt on us, when we start putting guilt on ourselves, sometimes the underlying assumption is we have somehow been unethical. That somehow our success violates some moral code of conduct. And it's not, sometimes it's not that it's interesting, we achieved a good outcome, therefore what we did must have been wrong along the way. That it is possible to achieve a good outcome by doing wrong things. I don't know that that is true. To me, those things are separate. And all I can really judge myself on is the actions that I take in the moment. And my conscience tells me if I've been unethical. It tells me you violated your own moral code. As a Christian, I try to follow the 10 Commandments. I try to live a more Christ-like life. Do I always do that? No, not at all. Not at all. And the thing is I know when I don't. I know it. My heart tells me you screwed up. Should have done this, or you shouldn't have done that. You should have done this in this way, or you shouldn't have done that in that way. Okay, I get it. Those tend to be the markers for me to let me know that I'm being unethical. Now, if we're going to shift our mindset, what we may want to think about is we need to be unafraid. And yeah, I know I'm looking for, could be courageous, but courageous doesn't have a U except toward the end. Actually, it has 2 of them, I guess. The point being, we need to be unafraid that with the outcome that we have sought and the actions that we're taking along the way. If we are being ethical, if we're being honest and moral and trying to do the right thing to the best of our knowledge, then what happens is we're going to be more successful. And we should not fear the outcome. We should also not fear criticism of our success. And so the challenge is we have to be unafraid. We have to be courageous. We have to be willing to accept that, yes, I did have a better outcome. I am more successful in my life, in my business, getting through this coronavirus thing. I have been more successful. And it's okay. It is okay. Because one of the things we're called to do is we're called to be leaders in our own life and called to be leaders for those people around us. And if we're going to role model the way, one of the things we're going to have to demonstrate to folks is how to be unafraid. Now, how do we do that? How do we do that? Is before we react to criticism, is we have to think through, where is that coming from? When someone is criticizing me for being unethical, is it valid? If it's valid, okay, need to fix that. If it's not valid, then we have to know that they're really complimenting us. They are envious of us. And so our responsibility to the person who's criticizing us, believe it or not, is to be fearless, is to be unafraid and move forward. It's also the responsibility we have for our families, is to go ahead and move forward into whatever that next step is. And so don't let people tell us we've been greedy. Don't let people tell us we're being unethical. Choose a path of growth and be unafraid when we do it, which means take action and do it boldly. So to make sure we're not unethical, evaluate where is that coming from. And if we've done the best we could, be not afraid. So thanks very much for joining us this time. If you got any comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, you folks have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy.